Hey, welcome to Tabletop Skirmish Games and part 4 of our How to Play Population Z series. I'm Lee and I'll be taking you through all the rules for movement actions. In the previous video we looked at the noise rules and how to adjust difficulty, but now we're going to focus on the introduction to actions and then go through all the different movement actions you can carry out during your games. During their activation, a survivor will carry out actions, and the number of actions they can carry out is limited by the number of their action characteristic, and you can find that on their character card down here. Actions may be carried out in any order and any number of times as long as the survivor has enough action points remaining during their activation. When you activate a survivor, you must declare what action they'll carry out, and then carry out that action, then declare another action, and so on until all their actions have been used up. We encourage you to have fun, be descriptive and ambitious, and if a player wants to do something with the survivor that sounds a bit outside of the rules but it'll add to the fun factor, give it a go. You can roll a dice, and on a 1 to 3 they can try it, on a 4 to 6 they fail. Let's go over reactions now, and a survivor can make a reaction during an NPC or enemy survivor activation. A reaction must be declared immediately after an NPC or enemy has carried out a single action and all effects are resolved. There are 2 reactions. You can either push the enemy 1 inch away, or if you're not in base contact, you can move 1 inch away. Each time a reaction is declared, the reacting survivor loses 1 apple. If they have no apples remaining, they cannot carry out the reaction. A survivor can make a reaction even if they've already activated that round, but can only make 1 reaction against each NPC or enemy per round. Let's talk about being in base contact now, and if a model is in base contact with an enemy model, it can only carry out a push action, pushing them 1 inch away, or it can carry out a melee action. You'll see all the actions your survivors can carry out on page 34 of the core rulebook. We're going to go through movement and all the movement actions in this video, and the other actions we'll cover in future videos. Let's talk about movement then, and in Population Z, movement is designed to be fluid, dynamic and fun. So be creative, link all the different movements together and take advantage of the terrain. If any movement seems dubious or your opponent raises a concern, simply roll off to decide if it's possible. Your models can move freely over other friendly models, but they can't finish a move with their base on another model's base. As we touched on earlier, if a character is in base contact with an enemy model, they can't simply walk away as they're likely to be engaged in combat. The character must use a push action to create 1 inch distance between them and then use another action if they wish to walk away. Models must finish their move action on a flat surface that supports their base and allows them to stand freely. The move actions we're going to cover in the rest of the video can be linked together to form what we call a continuous move. For example, a survivor with 3 actions can walk 2 inches, then they can jump across a gap no wider than 2 inches, even if their model's base is not fully supported on the flat surface, and then they can continue to walk another 2 inches. Note that reactions can be made by enemy models after each move action that was carried out as part of a continuous move. Let's look at obstacles now, and survivors can move across obstacles or terrain that's less than 1 inch high as normal. Anything over 1 inch will slow them down, so measure the distance that they move up, across and down unless they use a fall action. When you set up the battlefield, you'll designate areas and obstacles and features that you think will be what we call tricky terrain. Areas like bomb craters, shallow water and barricades. These are going to present challenges to the characters as they move, so we're going to halve their walk characteristic rounding up. Now we've covered the concepts of movement, let's have a look at the movement actions themselves, and we'll start with walking. And walking will cost 1 action, and you'll walk the distance equal to the walk characteristic. This will be 2 inches for most characters unless it says otherwise on their character card. Next, we've got swimming in deep water. This is 1 action, and you'll swim a distance equal to half of the walk characteristic, rounding up. If a model ends its activation in open water, it's allowed to tread water for free until its next activation. It also gets deep cover, but cannot carry out any other actions when swimming. Let's look at jumping now. This will be 1 action, and a character can jump across open spaces to the distance of their walk characteristic. They can jump onto a ladder, jump out into open space and then fall, or they can jump as part of their continuous move. Now let's look at climbing, and each climb will cost 1 action. And to climb for 1 action, you're going to halve the walk characteristic, but only measure the vertical distance. If the terrain looks climbable, the character can climb it, but the character must start the climb in base contact with the bottom of the terrain, and then end the climb in base contact with the top of the terrain. The character must complete the climb during the same activation. When you move up or down any ladders, stairs, ropes, or pipes, you use the normal walk action. Survivors can slide, and this will cost 1 action. They'll slide down ropes, designated slides and pipes without taking damage from a fall. A survivor can slide any distance, limited only by the length of the rope, slide or pipe for that 1 action. The survivor must start the slide in base contact with the top of the feature and end the slide in base contact with the bottom of the feature. Let's look at falling next, and this is a free action. A character can fall down any distance of 2 inches or less without suffering damage. If the fall is more than 2 inches, they lose 1 heart. There is an exception to this. A survivor can fall down any distance into deep water without suffering any damage. And the final movement action is to stand up. This will cost 1 action. And if a model is prone, carry out a stand-up action by placing the character's base in the same position it was in before it was knocked prone. That's now covered the introduction to actions and the movement actions. If you haven't joined me already for parts 1 through 3 of the How to Play series, then those videos will be linked at the end of this one. But now we're right up to part 4. It'll be awesome if you come and join me for part 5, where we'll look at all the other actions you can carry out. After that, we're going to look into searching, which is a real big part of the game, then move on to ranged attacks, melee attacks with combat assists. We'll have a look at zombies and NPCs, then how to start a campaign, and then finally we'll have a look at a skirmish overview before moving on to a demo game. If you'd like to find out more about Population Z Welcome to Huntsville, then check out the book overview. That video is also linked, and I've also done a video for Pop Z, the asset books. This is for the Huntsville campaign, optional extra that really adds to the game. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'd love to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments down below. And if you've got any questions, I'd love to help too. But for now, thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, it'd be great if you hit the like button, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Tabletop Skirmish Games. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters for helping me to keep going with these regular videos. I couldn't do this without you, and I appreciate your support so much. If you'd like to join the Patreon community, support the channel, get some great perks at the same time, there's a link down below in the description. It'll be awesome to see you there.